Valve really needs to fix TF2. If you guys have not been on the internet recently, there is a new movement, a follow-up to #SafeTF2 that happened a few years ago, called #FixTF2. #FixTF2 is a movement for Valve to fix the damn bot problem on the very popular live service game known as Team Fortress 2. If you have never heard of Team Fortress 2, it's a game that came out in 2007 that was a follow-up to the original Team Fortress. So it was a mod for Quake, and Valve got involved. Then there were different iterations that were planned. Technically, Team Fortress 2 is somewhat of the fourth Team Fortress game, even though not really. It's just how Valve works. They make a lot of games and they don't release it. But Team Fortress 2 has been out since 2007. It's a really cool game with a lot of lore, an amazing art style, amazing colors, great characters, so much dialogue, and so much history in it. It's a live service game that's had so many players on it. It's had so much involvement from the community, whether it be workshop items from Steam's workshop. It's impacted the industry by, loot boxes, pretty much. It really popularized that concept. Emotes and so much awesome stuff. And a major problem is that Valve still makes money from this game. There's so many dedicated players who still play this game, and yet Valve doesn't fix the bot crisis, which is ruining the experience for everyone. Now, even if you don't play Team Fortress 2, this is gonna impact you because Valve is a giant in the gaming industry. I know for some people, the scope of gaming is kind of difficult to understand. Technically mobile gaming is pretty much dominating everything, but you also have, VR gaming, which is still a growing industry. You have PC gaming, which has been around forever now, and you have consoles, which have been around since the dawn of time. There's so much history and there's so much different factors and parts of the gaming industry, but PC gaming is huge, and Valve pretty much leads that. They're the biggest game marketplace. They have the Steam Workshop. If you make a game, you put it on Steam. It's just how it goes. Unless you're someone like Riot Games or, I guess Minecraft and a few other launchers that exist outside of Steam. Even then, players tend to prefer Steam because people like their Steam account. They like the customization of their profiles. They like the items. They like the workshop. It's a really awesome platform. But yeah, Team Fortress 2, something that Valve is still making money from. And they definitely represent other developers out there and what they are able to do. Valve put loot boxes in TF2. They put it in CSGO. Loot boxes are all over the gaming industry. And the way Valve does stuff, it definitely impacts the rest of us. And Valve, we used to see them as a good guy, but over the years we've all quickly realized that they don't really make games. And even if they did, because there's a lot of talented developers there, Valve won't release them. There's tons and tons of projects, fully fledged games that never came out because Valve just never had the push to finally get it out there. Valve creates a game, it has to be a different experience, it has to really make an impact. Now, where am I going with this? Valve does not care to fix their freaking anti-cheat system. VAC, or Valve's anti-cheat system, does nothing. And this is adding on to the issue of live service games where games aren't getting updated. You're paying for them, or even if you're playing for free, you're spending all this money in them. The experience isn't updated. Items are nerfed or thrown back and forth that you paid for, you grinded for. There's a bot crisis and all this. All these devs are just screwing everyone over. When I think of it, Fallout 76, horrible launch. It was a super unstable game, ran like garbage, and it's still recovering. It never really got the full it never got to its maximum potential. Anthem, EA destroyed that. Think about Cyberpunk 2077. Imagine waiting almost a decade to get this game. All these people pre-ordering it, $60. I was one of them, and the game came out and it was nothing from what they promised. And this has been ongoing. There's no legal repercussion for what these developers are doing. They're all these huge developers, they're buying out all these indie studios, they're destroying all these awesome games that are coming out and, ruining their potential. It's just, the gaming industry is so crowded with garbage now, it just sucks to be involved in it. I think that's a major reason why I personally just stopped playing games. I was obsessed with games, I made so many friends through them, I learned so much. It even helped me with my language skills or learning to be more computer, what's the word? To be very knowledgeable with computers and stuff. it benefits me. And you know, it definitely helped me during a time where I was struggling to be social and where I was struggling to make friends, and I've definitely crawled out of that a lot because of video games and what it can lead you to, whether it be making new friends, whether it be, you know, starting a YouTube channel or starting your own business, whatever. You know, video games connect us like nothing else really does. It's an escape from reality, and sometimes it can get too far. Obviously, there are people who like get a little bit too addicted to gaming. You gotta balance your life out. But video games definitely play a crucial role in everyone's lives, and I mean the economy, like the world. They're really important. But all these developers are screwing everything over. And Valve's bot problem, their problem with Team Fortress 2 has been like since what, 2017, that they dropped what, Inferno update. And ever since then, ever since the, you know, the kind of iffy response to that update, Valve never released a major update ever since. You know, there was all these updates in the pipeline, all this talk, all these files being seen leaked and like left in other game code. We knew Valve was working on stuff, but they just kind of abandoned it. I mean, they have Steam. Why do they need to release anything else? Now, to be fair, Valve has been releasing games. They've been releasing hardware. They released the Valve Index, the Steam Deck. They've dropped a bunch of little demos. They tried making Artifact, which is a whole different topic, but in my opinion, Artifact would have taken off if they don't charge for all these cards. I think they should bring Artifact back and Dota on the lowers. There's a bunch of stuff Valve's been doing, because they have a lot of awesome developers and a lot of awesome content that hasn't been released, but Team Fortress 2 is one of those examples of Valve just abandoning game, it getting overridden with bugs and problems, and then the bot crisis. I mean, you can see, I think, over 100,000, 200,000 players online peak, and the majority of that are actually just bots. Now, how many of those are cheater bots versus how many of those are trading bots? Because when you idle in games and whatever, you can get item drops and whatever. We don't really know what percentage of that is cheating bots versus item bots. However, those are both very prominent issues that, you know, we shouldn't allow Valve to just let happen. It's impossible to get into a game, and hashtag SafeTF2 was years ago. We got Valve's attention because the media was reporting about how you join any game lobby and people were spamming the N-word in the voice channels and in the text chats. And Valve finally signed with some other smaller company that's been maintaining the game. The game is there's a lot less bugs that have been there since day one. It's a lot smoother. They just brought it to 64-bit. And we've been getting maps, we've been getting little events and whatever. But Valve hasn't fixed the main problem that's been with the game, which is the bot crisis. It's crazy to me that Valve allows us to get onto this game, this billion-dollar company that has all this time and resources and money to maintain and fix the issue. They allow us to go in there, spend money on keys, get all these items and whatever, and they refuse to fix the player experience. Like, it's literally just a middle finger to everyone who's made them all this money. I don't know what's going on at Valve, because Valve has a very different management system. I mean, there's a lot of cases where Valve has been a much better game dev than literally any other studio. I'm not really referring to indie studios, that's a whole different thing. I'm mainly referring to the big ones out there that are really corrupt and messed up. But Valve has, you know, historically been a really awesome studio or whatever, but they're really shooting themselves in the foot. And the problem is, right now they're working on a new game. I think it's called Deadlock, which is like a hero shooter, kind of like Overwatch. And Valve is going to repeat the same thing. They're not going to maintain the game. They're not going to update their anti-cheat. It's going to be the same issue over and over again, and it's going to bite them where it really hurts. Because there's a lot of negativity around Valve right now. And the spotlight's on them, but they're not doing anything. There's no response from them. And honestly, it's really scary. But if you guys haven't seen, you guys can go to you guys can go to save.tf. It's a website. You can put your name and your email, and they're going to try and send like a proper physical like signatures and stuff of people who are signing the petition to hopefully get a response from Valve. There's been a lot of media coverage. There has been a huge wave of people leaving negative reviews on Valve's or on Team Fortress 2's Steam page, which honestly I do recommend. I mean, it worked for Helldivers. Is it going to work for Steam or for Team Fortress 2? I'm not so sure, but Valve definitely is not going to enjoy the negative reviews all of a sudden for the second time in history for the game. So, I don't know. We're going to see. But please do sign the petition. Get it out there that what Valve is doing is setting a really bad precedent for like the rest of the gaming industry, especially with how big they are. It's just going to allow more and more bad things to happen. I mean, you already have Counter-Strike, you have Team Fortress 2, you have Dota 2, and now they're going to make another live service game that eventually they're just not going to take care of after the millions and millions of dollars people have spent on this game. I'm not sure on the exact numbers, but I think Valve makes like $500,000 to $1 million a month, like just passively from people opening cases or whatever. I'm not sure what the exact number is. It's really high. It's insane how much money they make just from a game that they don't maintain. But if you guys do want to support it, don't buy anything on the Steam market for Team Fortress 2. You guys can leave a bad review if you want until they fix it. Sign the petition on save.tf. And you know, just spread the message, because this is going to impact all games. And it really sucks because I have been playing the game since like late 2014 or since 2015. You know, not a lot, just on and off. And I really enjoyed the game. It's a really awesome game, and I can see why there's so many dedicated players. And it really sucks to see like such an amazing piece of work like just get destroyed because the people who made it just don't care since they have all this money now. But yeah, that was just like my little tangent, my little rant. I'm really upset at the situation. Even though I'm not like an insanely huge Team Fortress 2 player, I still love and respect the game and love and respect the players and the lore and the community around it. But I don't know, at minimum, Valve needs to just fix the bot crisis. Continue, you know, releasing the content updates, cleaning up the game, making sure it runs well. Honestly, it'd be awesome, you know, if Valve put a focus on Team Fortress 2 again. I mean, bring back the TF2 comics. Maybe bring the game to console even. Add a console queues for people to play. And just, you know, let people enjoy the game. Because it really sucks if you've spent money on this game and you can't even enjoy it. It's horrible. There's people out there who literally paid for the game back in the day before it was free to play. It's not like they got their money back. So yeah. Make sure to visit save.tf. Sign your name, your email. Spread the message. Hashtag FixTF2. Let's see if Valve finally listens.